Hello. I don't think I've spoken to you in a few days, but I am in France. I'm in Dordogne, Saint-Germain-des-Prés. Please forgive my horrible butchering of the French language. My teachers would not be proud of me. But I'm in France for my writing retreat. It's called Manor and Maker, and I can leave a website to it down below. They do different retreats throughout the year at their French chateau. I got here yesterday. I took the train down from Paris, where I spent the night between London and here. And yeah, so I'm here for a week for NaNoWriMo writing retreat. And there's 3 other writers here, and then the 2 hosts. So very cozy time, very beautiful chateau. I'll see if I can get some footage of the chateau a bit later for you. So hopefully this is going to be a very productive week. I've told them to to hound me about my progress for the day to make sure that I'm actually writing. So wish me luck for the week. I'm going on a little walk through their property. It's gorgeous. Got a raisin scone from a train station bakery, but I figure while I eat it, I didn't think this through. So right now, I am still planning, and let me tell you, I'm sort of partly doing it to procrastinate writing because I'm nervous to write. Once I figured out one of the questions that I had, I realized, oh crap, does this mean I have to start writing? And I darn near had a panic attack, and then I thought about another question I could answer and then put it off for a little bit. So I'm in the process of answering that question, but funny thing happened earlier. I had been struggling to figure out something, and then I sort of took a step back from it and looked at it from a different perspective, and I came up with a solution to it, but it was such a simple, straightforward solution that I had to get up and walk away and think about it for a few minutes because I was like, there's no way the answer to that question was that simple the whole time. I just almost didn't believe it because it was too easy, but I'm going with it, and I've developed it a little bit since then, and I still like it so far. Yeah. So here's the deal. It's like 10:30 p.m. and I think I'm ready to start writing, which like all day I've been putting off writing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a timer, maybe just 20 minutes. I think if I could just get a couple hundred words to sort of set the vibe of this scene, that would be good, because I have just created a new character and I want to just try to get the voice of the character, just try to understand where they are, because I know what they're supposed to do. I just have to figure out sort of how to lead into that. But I don't even have to really figure out how to lead into it. I could just have them do the thing and figure out how to lead into it later when I come back to it. So anyway, I'm going to try to write a little bit, set myself up for success tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens. So wish me luck, because I'm going to need it. Hello, another day at the chateau. I don't know if I told you last night, but I started writing and I wrote 150 words last night just to get some feelers of what the scene was and this new character who I just created. So today I took out my index cards and I started plotting this new character's plot line and figuring out how his story interweaves with my other character, Francis. So that was really successful. And then I started writing. So I wrote 1,200 words today. I think my word count's around 33,000 or something. I wrote the first scene that character is in, and then I realized, so that first scene he's kind of escaping from a place, and then I realized I don't actually know where exactly he's escaping to. Like I know kind of like I know the people he's supposed to encounter when he gets there, but I need to figure out like what the actual location is, and so that is kind of the next thing I think to figure out. almost midnight, and tomorrow we're going to have breakfast, French toast, and go to the market. I haven't showed you any of the food here, but Sarah and Stephen cook for us every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks, or apero. And it's all very good. So, recap of today's writing. So I kind of was all over the place today. The highlights are that I'm opening my computer now. The highlights are that I created a new character, sort of a minor character, but she's an important character to the other new character who I created like yesterday, the day before, that was a major character, just somebody who influenced him in the past and who he crossed paths with during the story. And I created a fictional town in Laos, the country in Southeast Asia. So a fictional town there, I gave it some history. So now I've got my character heading there to experience some plot events. And yeah, it's a stepping stone along the way to eventually crossing paths with my actual main character. And then I started reading through the first few chapters of the manuscript, just because I had started writing this new character from his perspective, and I kind of just felt like I was, particularly the writing style, I felt like I wasn't adhering to the writing style I had sort of been going with for my other main character, Frances, when I had been writing her story, because I was doing something different with the voice. I can't I can't give you a technical explanation of what I did differently. It just felt like I was writing slightly differently. And so I wanted to make sure that I was sort of adhering to a similar type of writing style for when I wrote this new character's perspective. So I went back and read and skimmed the first 3 chapters, and then I went through and reread the chapter I wrote yesterday, and I tweaked it. You're not supposed to edit as you go, especially during NaNoWriMo, but I did at least add a few hundred words, or a couple hundred words, whatever. And then I started writing his next chapter. That's what I've done today. My word count. My word count is 33,887. So that's just 600 words added today. A total of about 2,000 added this month, which is only the last 3 days of work. So not a lot, especially since today's the 8th of November. But you have to think sometimes, yes, it's NaNoWriMo and the focus is on word count, so quantity over quality. But I just don't want to write a bunch of stuff. And more importantly, I don't know that I can necessarily write a bunch of stuff for this story without having an idea of where it's going. And in order to figure out where it's going, I've got to stop and do some planning and some world building. So overall, we're moving in a forward direction. It's just that it's not always forward with quantity of words. It's forward with the planning of the story, and things are becoming at least my impression of the story in my head is better. Things are more simple. I've taken out some of the complicated bits, made them more simple, made things make more sense. I've connected things that were not previously connected, and everything is just coming together, and I'm very happy about that. So yeah, I might try to, I don't know if I'm going to try to continue writing now, because like I said, it's almost midnight, but I could. It's just that we have to wake up early because we're going to a market tomorrow. But anyway, so I'll catch in with you tomorrow, and yeah, good night. Sweet potato. Oh yeah.
Do you need a dream soup? Do you want a sweet potato?
I just want, for context, the size of my hand. Yeah, we had some chestnut soup for lunch, and then me and the other girl could not stop yawning. So I was like, I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to relax for a bit. Do sort of a waking nap thing where you don't actually try to go to sleep, but you just relax to the point that you feel like you took a nap. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm watching Anthony Fantano's review of an Everything album, because yesterday I was listening to a bunch of everything songs because they just released their song Cold Reactor, and I was like, I finally need to just go back and listen to more of their music. Taking a break right now, and then hopefully I'm going to get to writing later. I did, however, just before lunch, just before our chestnut soup, write some notes on my character's next scene, like what he's doing and how he's doing it, and sort of just figuring out the logistics of it. And then once I feel a bit more rested, or this wave of tiredness, this postprandial drop passes, then I can go back to doing some writing in front of the fireplace. Five minutes later. These mushrooms. These ones, just a few days ago, looked like those ones, like more closed up. There's mushrooms everywhere. They said that it means that this tree is probably dead or dying, which is really unfortunate because it's such a tall tree. And then I thought this stuff was cool. It looks like white seaweed almost, but apparently it's lichen. And maybe that's like really obvious to you, but it was not obvious to me. It's really cool. And through the trees there's the chateau. Hello. So it's we've been watching, like, while we've eaten lunch. It rained for 5 minutes, and then like really coming down, and then it stopped and the sun came out, and then it started drizzling, and then it went away and the sun was still out. And I was just like, it rains here like a tropical island. Like, it rains for 5 minutes, then it passes, and then the sun comes out. It's crazy. It's like whiplash. And I asked if this is typical of this area, and they were saying it's kind of more intense right now because there has been a couple of storm systems that have passed through in the last couple of weeks. But it's just incredible to watch. So I'm just going on a little post-lunch walk right now. Let's see if I can find some giant mushrooms. But look, Chateau de Saint-Germain-des-Prés. Look at my horrible French accent. So something that was very interesting that happened yesterday when I was writing was that I started writing a scene from my new character's perspective, and I think I wrote about a page or two before I realized that I was writing it in third person present tense when it's supposed to be in third person past tense, but I'm so used to writing hotel story that my brain is just like in that mode. So it's like having to switch languages or something. Like, not that I speak multiple languages or anything, but it's just like you get so used to one and now I have to switch back to the other because the rest of the story is already in third person. And so yeah, just retraining my brain, no big deal. I almost just stepped on this guy. Look at that. Yeah, so tomorrow's or rather today's my last full day, and I leave tomorrow, take a train to Paris, stay the night, and then fly back home to Massachusetts, and that's the end of my creative retreat. But gosh, this has really been such a wonderful trip. And here in particular, I've had a lot of opportunity to like actually focus and think about my story. Like you get home and there's like chores and things that need to be taken care of, and that can disrupt your flow. And I've really enjoyed eating meals with everybody. Like such a cool group of people, you know. Yeah, and lots of inspiration to be had on these grounds. Like look at all this around me. So many fall colors at store right now. So like even this tree right in front of me, you know? I mean, come on. Look at that. Look at all of that. So yeah. So gonna go back inside the chateau, do a little writing. We're gonna have a custard bake off, I think this afternoon or tonight. And I look forward to being a judge, a taste tester, if you will. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to say was last night. So last night I wrote about 1,000 words from the afternoon to the nighttime, and I really struggled because I decided to set my scene in a location I've never been to. And I do this to myself often, you know, but it's just like it'll be a location that I know absolutely nothing about. And so I've got to go into a little bit of a research rabbit hole, because what you know about the place and what you research about the place will influence how the scene unfolds. So it's hard to just write it without knowing anything. But of course, I didn't get the idea to set the scene there until I started writing. So you have to stop writing to do some research. And then I decided to give my character like a specific characteristic, like to make them a certain kind of person. And so I had to do research into that. And that was like a whole thing, like about what those kinds of people will wear, what the colors mean, you know, how that varies from like in different locations, different countries, and that kind of thing. But anyway, all that is to say, I went down a research rabbit hole, and then when it came to writing the scene, it was like pulling every tooth out of my mouth. It was such a struggle, but I did it. I hit 1,000 words for the day. I hit about 35,000 words for the story overall, and yeah, so you know, I can look back on it and enjoy that it's written, be happy that it's written and like what I wrote, even if there are things that I might want to change. But yeah, sometimes the experience of writing is just not fun for me. You know, some people don't like writing at all. They like having written, and I understand that. There are times when I definitely enjoy writing, but last night was just not one of them. And yeah, so, but it moves the story forward. There's forward progress. You know, it's not always quantitative. It's nice to just get some progress down. Like, oh, I've planned out these details, I've connected these things. And so when I get to a scene where those details are included, I'll be happy to have done that research and all that setup and stuff. So, yeah, okay. That's all I've got for now. I hope my video doesn't get taken down from YouTube because I'm showing this mushroom, but it looks like a nipple. Looks like a nickel on a boob. I definitely said nickel, but whoops. Gorgeous. This chateau does not have a bad angle. Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. Time to go back. Bye.